Valve's latest change to Steam might make games more expensive. The price recommendations range from 2% to an astronomical 424%. What does this mean? Well, Valve has revealed changes in regards to regional pricing on Steam, which might make games more expensive for everyone, but that's a big maybe. First things first, Valve is not raising prices on games themselves. Valve helps developers by giving recommendations for their prices for video games in different currencies. The developers don't have to follow their recommendations, but of course, many developers just go ahead and follow Valve's lead as they've done the research for them. Valve doesn't just look at currency exchange rates for these price recommendations here. They explain it this way. Quote, if you live outside of the US or say the UK, this is probably really important to understand. Rather than just pegging prices to foreign exchange rates, our process for price suggestions goes deeper into the nuts and bolts of what players pay for the goods and services in their lives. This includes metrics like purchasing power parity and the consumer price indexes, which help compare prices and costs more broadly across a bunch of different economic sectors. In the case of games on Steam, we also drill down more specifically to entertainment purchasing to better inform those decisions. Okay, so what's actually changed? Well, the recommended prices have all changed. In fact, they have all gone up various amounts from as low as 2% for the Philippine peso, 199 changing from 69.95 Philippine pesos to 71.49, to a staggering 424% increase for the Turkish lira, which is, if something was priced at $1.99, which would have been 420 in Turkish lira, it's now 21.99 in Turkish lira. Kind of a big deal. These changes follow news that Steam just hit a user peak with 30 million concurrent users online logging in last October 23rd, 2022. Obviously, both these high engagement numbers for Steam itself and the decision to raise recommended prices for global currencies are consequences of their continuing pandemic and the war in Ukraine and subsequent economic crisis, all working together to make a more volatile market for games. Ironically, at a time when games have been making more money than ever before. If Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick's prediction holds true, video games as an industry will continue to stay resilient and grow for the next 2 decades. Whether this means the business will continue to be good for all the gaming companies isn't certain. If video games are forced to raise in prices, the industry as a whole may become more reliant on whales, the way mobile gaming is. It may still be a profitable enterprise, but some gaming companies and gamers themselves may have to be left behind on the way. I think that this is the sort of panic, sort of, what would we call it? Sensational commentary that we see a lot from like YouTubers and journalists, and not even journalists, more pundits that don't usually know what they're talking about. It's like, I think the article is really well written for the record, but this idea that they're describing that Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two, has been echoing, I think that this whole thing that Strauss is saying is kind of, I don't buy it. The idea that every game is going to turn into like a mobile game and every game is going to turn into this like super toxic whatever pile of crap, I just don't personally buy it. You guys remember 2014? There was all of this crazy crap going on with mobile games, and everybody thought that mobile games were going to be the future. It was like, oh, well, everything's going to be mobile based. Everything's going to be loot boxes in a couple of years. And they ended up being like that in a couple of years. And then the whole thing collapsed. It didn't work because people got pissed off and didn't want to deal with it anymore. And that's how it works. I mean, the customer eventually will make their voices heard and will not allow it. We'll be like, no, this is stupid. I'm not going to give you money if you're acting like this. And then they go away.